Project Pride SRQ thanks the Community Foundation of Sarasota County for a grant supporting the Brunch Show.
Hey there, it's the Brunch Show. We're so excited to be at our home for the next few shows, Florida Studio Theater. Our lead topic today is right down the street. Grab a mimosa and let's get started. We've cooked up something special today on the Brunch Show, and we have some news to share about a big LGBTQ visibility project right here in downtown Sarasota. This whole show is dedicated to LGBTQ visibility and what we're doing here in Sarasota. We'll be talking to Sarasota Vice Mayor Erik Arroyo, Project Pride SRQ President Jordan Letschert, the artist behind a very important project, and a very special guest, the first Executive Director of the Human Rights Campaign, Vic Basile. It's going to be a great show, so pour yourself a mimosa and let's get started. Project Pride SRQ has been working with the city of Sarasota to create a rainbow crosswalk at the intersection of Coconut and 2nd here in downtown Sarasota. It's being funded completely with private donations, and we're fortunate to have with us a VIP guest to discuss this project, Sarasota Vice Mayor Erik Arroyo. And Mr. Arroyo, it's an honor to have you here. You became vice mayor sort of midstream of this project, right?
Yes, and thank you for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be here. I sort of came in and heard about this project. I think it's a great idea. I think visibility is important. I think the LGBT movement is important, and it's a great path forward.
You know, Sarasota is known for its accepting and welcoming of LGBTQ people. In addition to the crosswalk, what other plans do you have to enhance and solidify Sarasota's support for diversity?
You know, we were talking about including some organizations in town that focus on diversity and inclusion. One of them being the Diversity and Inclusion Committee or the Council of the Florida Bar Association and the Sarasota Bar. I'm a member of that. We talked about promoting scholarships, diversity-based scholarships. We have programs like Embracing Our Differences that have that display right now over by the park there on the bay. And also, we've been in discussions with people about actually changing the lights under the bridge to reflect LGBT support.
Vice Mayor, tourism is such an important source of income for Sarasota. Sarasota is working to encourage LGBTQ visitors. What more would you like to see happen?
In terms of visitors, I think we need to really focus on Sarasota being a welcoming place. We've won so many awards. We're the #1 place in the country to commute to work, believe it or not. Forbes named us the city with the best well-being. We are regarded as the 2nd best city to start a business by Verizon Up magazine or website. We have obviously the #1 beach in America. If not the #1 this year, it'll be next year. We always fluctuate between 1 and 2. We really need to focus on the arts. I've noticed that a lot of organizations are really struggling right now because of COVID, and having the city support them is very important because although the beaches and tourism and attract a lot of people, many people come to Sarasota because of our arts. Selby Gardens attracts a international crowd of people that come here just to see their exhibits. We have the Ringling Museum and the Ringling College of Art, which attracts international talent. We have so much to offer here in Sarasota, and we really need to promote that. A recent fact that was brought up that a lot of people aren't aware of is that Sarasota may have been the first place where golf was played in the entire country. And things like that people don't realize about Sarasota are very important to bring to light, so that when people come here, they see the visibility and our focus on equality and on inclusion, on the arts, and on so much history.
Sarasota really is a great place to live, a great place to play. Thank you for speaking with us today and taking time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you. I'll be back anytime you want.
Joining us now is Jordan Letschert, Project Pride SRQ President. Jordan, you've been on the show before, so you're like a recurring guest now.
I am. I'm back.
Isn't that
Happy to be
exciting?
back. It is.
I always love to have recurring guest stars. It's a great fun thing for me. Now, I would like to talk to you about something really super exciting, but also welcome you back. But I want to make sure we discuss a new project that is happening. So I wanted to know, tell me how this project started and what's the timeline for completion of it?
So this project started as a community event, something that could bring the members of the community together. And it's a crosswalk project. When you think of crosswalks, you think of intersections, and it has to do with people's lives intersecting. So we wanted to make this something that Sarasota has never seen before. So what we came up with was a design by an artist who's made the largest LGBTQ street mural in the United States from Michigan. And he's going to come down, and on Coconut and 2nd, which is a 5-point intersection, we will have our largest mural on the ground for at least 12 months.
Wow. Well, now, when do we think this will be completed?
So this will be completed the beginning of April.
Oh, wow. So everybody can really start to enjoy. I mean, it's pretty soon, right? I mean, people can start to enjoy it pretty soon, which is really exciting. You know, the crosswalks are such a big part of, inclusivity in a community. So I think it's really great that we have them here. Sarasota is a place that I think is very welcoming to the LGBTQ plus community. And in terms of tourism, do you think there's more that they can do here in Sarasota? Are we on the right track, or is there more exciting things we can look forward to?
Oh, there's definitely more exciting things. I think both the city, who's been a partner with us in this to get this completed, obviously, and Project Pride have realized that tourism is an untapped industry in Sarasota for the LGBTQ market. Essentially, there's usually more discretionary income with LGBTQ families, and that's never really been capitalized by the city. So we look forward to that here, where we put more heads in beds, and it's generating revenue for the city.
I love it. Now let's talk for a minute about Project Pride SRQ. Obviously, you're busy with the Crosswalk Project, and of course the Brunch Show, which we're on right now. What other projects are you working on?
Well, our biggest one right now is to finish the crosswalk, and then we'll set our sights to June for Pride Month. For June, we're going to make sure this year that Sarasota is on full display. We have over 75 banners that have been made that will hang from the light poles in downtown. The city's agreed to light up the Ringling Bridge. The Bay Project has agreed to light up the fountain that they have, and in addition to the crosswalk. So we'll actually have presence here in Sarasota for the LGBTQ community to actually see that they're being embraced in Sarasota.
No, I absolutely agree with that. I think that's fantastic. Now, are you pretty much completed? Is the funding complete for the project, or is there ways that people can help? Could you let people know?
There's definitely ways that people can help. They can go onto our website, our Project Pride website, and they can donate there. This is a community-driven project. Our goal is to uplift the community. We only go as far as what the community wants. The feedback has been wonderful. Everyone wants our community to be lifted up higher in the spotlight than it's been typically. As you said, it's a community that's supported by the LGBTQ community. So this is a project driven by that. And so we are definitely taking donations. We have a wide scope, and every bit helps.
I love that. Jordan, you've done so much for the community here, and so it's always great to have you. I hope we can have you on every show. You're like my Ed McMahon, sort of my right-hand guy.
I will be back anytime.
Don't you love that? I love it too. I'm so happy that you're here. Jordan, we'll continue to look at more exciting things from Project Pride SRQ, and we're really looking forward to that crosswalk, so I'm super excited about it. Great to have you here, and thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. In our next segment, we will meet the artist who designed the crosswalk and learn about where he gets his inspiration. And a very special guest. He was the first executive director of the Human Rights Campaign and a founder of the Victory Fund. Vic Basile will be with us. And later, Sarasota's own Beneva Fruitville answers viewers' questions. You won't want to miss that.
Guests of the Brunch Show stay at the Hotel Indigo in Sarasota. Located in the heart of downtown Sarasota's Arts District, it's your luxury home away from home. HotelIndigoSarasota.com.
He was the first recipient of Project Pride's SRQ's Visionary Award last year. Sarasota is his winter home, and we're honored to have him with us today. Vic, how are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me on your show.
Very exciting. You know, so many people don't understand gay pride. The idea we have parades and celebrate who we are. How do you explain this to those people?
It's unfortunate that we have to, but I think the number of people we need to explain it to is getting smaller all the time. But pride provides us with an opportunity to be who we truly are, ourselves. And it gives us a sense of community, a sense of belonging, and a sense of legitimacy. And I think, while it's not as true now as it was 20 years ago, some straight people just don't get it. I mean, they just don't understand why we need this special thing. But what they don't get is just that whole concept of growing up feeling as if you need to hide, as if you need to be somebody other than who you truly are. And I think that's something that they don't. But we can help them understand our reality, and that's really the important piece. So when they understand our reality, they're a long way towards understanding the importance of pride to us.
That's right. The Human Rights Campaign, which you were the first executive director, is based on visibility. Tell me how that all started.
It didn't start with visibility, unfortunately, but because we were much too small way back then, and you just can't do it all. So we started, we had a very narrow focus. Our focus was to elect our friends to Congress and then to build relationships with them once they were there. That was our mission. It was old-fashioned pragmatic politics. The visibility came much later. And now, of course, the organization is all about visibility. But the pragmatic politics worked very well for us. And if I can, I just wanted to give you one example of how it worked. Back at the height of the AIDS epidemic, when there was no treatment for AIDS, if you got AIDS, kill you and you knew it. And then all of a sudden, a drug started to show promise in the treatment of AIDS and extending people's lives. AZT, you might remember that. But it was in a double-blind trial, which meant half the people were getting placebos and half were getting the drug. And the trial was being run by none other than Dr. Anthony Fauci, who was at the time the coordinator for all HIV research at NIH. And because the evidence was so compelling, he ended the trial early. He and his colleagues decided to end it early to try to get the drug into the hands of thousands of people who needed it. And when they did that, they made an unfortunate discovery in that there was no money to distribute the drug. And then one of our smartest volunteers, a Broadway producer named Richmond Crinkley, who had lost several friends to AIDS and had devoured medical journals to keep himself abreast of all the research, came up with a strategy so that we could possibly get the money. And so he asked me if I could arrange a meeting with Senator Lowell Weicker, a Republican from Connecticut who chaired the Senate Appropriations Subcommittee that dealt with health issues. And so Hillary Rosen, who was our lobbyist at the time, arranged the meeting. The three of us went to it, and Richmond started to present the facts to Senator Weicker, whose wife happened to be there when we had the meeting. And he explained that, with research being so bleak until now, that there was finally a drug showing promise, but there was no money to distribute it. And he mentioned that a guy named Dan Bradley, who was co-chair of the HRC board of directors at the time, but the former president of Legal Services Corporation, and who had worked with Senator Weicker's wife back then, and they remained friends. And so Richmond mentioned Dan's name, that he was sick and that he could possibly benefit from this drug. And Weicker turns to us and he says, frankly, it's the 11th hour. He said, the vote on the full appropriations bill is tomorrow morning, and I don't know if there's anything I can do. So we left the meeting not knowing what was going to happen. The next day, Weicker takes the Senate floor, and he said the day before he met with representatives from the Human Rights Campaign Fund, our name at the time, who had told him about this new drug that could potentially extend the lives of people with AIDS. And he wanted to offer an amendment to add $47 million to the appropriation. He did that, and then Senator William Proxmire from Wisconsin, who's the ranking Democrat, rose and said, I second the amendment. And it passed without dissent. That's an example, I think, of good old-fashioned politics at work. It doesn't replace visibility, which is clearly important, but it worked at the time, and people got that drug.
Yes, it's a big part of the history that many people don't know, so it's really nice to hear you talk about all that. Here in Sarasota, we're taking a big step in visibility with this crosswalk, which I know is highly awaited. Your thoughts on that? I mean, it's an exciting thing, correct?
It's very exciting. Yes, it is. And I got to tell you, I just congratulations to Project Pride SRQ for having been able to do that. You know, on the one hand, it seems like such a small, insignificant thing to have a crosswalk painted in rainbow colors, but it's really a huge deal. And because thousands of people walk across that walk, most of them straight, and they notice and they have discussions about it, and it educates people and it informs them that Sarasota has a vibrant LGBTQ community. So I think it's very important, and my congratulations on that.
Isn't that awesome? Many of us of a certain age lived in the closet at some point, even me, I know, surprising. Why is it important for people to be out? Well,
as someone who lived in the closet for years, I can tell you that it's not a very good place to be. And when I finally made the decision to come out, it was I think it was perhaps the most liberating thing I'd ever done in my entire life. It freed me up to be who I am. And it strengthened my relationship with my family and with my friends, and I was just a much happier camper after I did that. On the macro scale, coming out changes people's hearts and minds forever. There is literally, and I'm saying this with all due respect to all of the organizations that I think are terribly important to our success, but nothing is more powerful in changing people's hearts and minds than the single act of coming out.
Vic, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. And I hope next time you can be here in person so we can share a mimosa or 3. This is my 3rd one. It's going well.
You're off to a good start, Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
The Rainbow Crosswalk has been in the works at Project Pride SRQ in the city of Sarasota for months, as we learned in the last segment. And the creative force behind the project is artist Joey Salamon. He joins us from his studio in Michigan. Joey, I got to see one of your pictures that you use, like one of your promotional pictures, and you're standing there on a beach somewhere, and I love it. Where was that? Was that here in Florida or somewhere else?
I think the photo that you're talking about was when we were in Portugal. This time, like exactly this time last year, right before everything was shut down.
I love it. You look so happy, so rugged. It's wonderful. Now, let's get on to the real important stuff. Now, tell me, how did you get interested in doing work with murals?
I think they've always fascinated me, and I knew that in some form or fashion I was going to go into an artistic field. And so I went to college and studied illustration, and then I don't know, there's no really like right way to get into murals. You kind of just have to start doing it, or you have to find people that will let you paint on their walls with having no experience. And so I just got a few breaks where I was given those opportunities. And since I had that art background, I think it gave people some confidence that I wouldn't completely mess up their walls. And and then it transitioned to where we're at today.
I love that. We have some video of a project that you did in Detroit. Will the Sarasota project be similar?
If it's the one with the big rainbow, that one's in Grand Rapids, Michigan. But I did one similar in Detroit. But yeah, the one in Sarasota is going to be somewhat in like the same-ish style. It's going to be done in exactly the same way that those ones were done. But yeah, so it'll look somewhat similar.
Now, how long will it take you to complete the crosswalk? It's a big job, so what's the time frame for that?
It's tough sometimes to tell, because even like if you have a day where it's like raining or something, then that's a day that's taken out. But assuming that everything goes to plan, it'll probably take maybe like 5 days, somewhere in there.
Now, do you do any smaller scale projects, anything like that you might want to talk to us about?
Summers, and then like late spring, early fall is when that's like mural season for me. So that's, well, I'm out always painting walls and stuff. But in the winter, unless I'm doing some interior murals, that's when I get to focus just on kind of my own stuff that I want to do, which usually is smaller projects that I can work in at my studio. It's the pieces that I make are kind of similar to my murals, but just on a much smaller scale. And it's nice to be able to do that. Like if someone wants to purchase some artwork for me, but obviously doesn't either like want a mural or can't afford something huge and crazy, this way it makes it a lot more tangible to be able to get a piece.
Now, your work is on display literally coast to coast and beyond. Do you have any favorite places? And I know later after you're done with the Sarasota one, you'll say Sarasota is one of your favorite places, but do you have any other favorite places that you've worked?
Honestly, I love traveling. I'm someone who I thrive off of just going to new places. So really, like, I can't even choose a favorite. Besides, I love living here in Detroit and working here in Detroit. That's been massive for me and a big inspiration in my artwork. But in terms of one specific favorite place, I just love going everywhere and getting to meet people and checking out the community.
Love that. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk, and we hope you enjoy your time in Sarasota. Perhaps you'll have time to come by for a mimosa. I've had several today, and the show just gets better and better.
Oh yeah, definitely will be doing that.
Last month, a group of Project Pride SRQ volunteers took to the street to help keep Sarasota beautiful. They cleaned up a section of Osprey Avenue as part of the first annual Project Pride SRQ's Keep Sarasota Beautiful Cleanup Day.
Picking up whatever trash and litter that's there. It's our project outreach to connect with the city and to serve the city in any way we can. And this is one of our ways. It's Keep Sarasota Beautiful program, and Project Pride is a big part of it.
If you'd like to get involved, visit projectpridesrq.org. We're adding some new segments to the Brunch Show, and one of them is Our Sarasota with Daniel Milks. Daniel owns a boutique travel company called My XO Adventures. He's a fabulous tour guide who leads groups on adventures around the world. He also acts as a local guide for folks visiting Sarasota. Today, Daniel takes us to a favorite spot to eat, drink, and shop. So Daniel, where are you today?
I'm standing in the center of one of Sarasota's favorite upscale shopping districts, St Armands Circle. And when I say I'm standing in the center, I mean directly in the middle of this gigantic wagon wheel.
You might not know, but St Armands Circle got its name from Charles St Armand. In 1885, he homesteaded here, cleared an acre of land, and paid only $13 for about 130 acres. That doesn't even lease about 1 square foot of property here today. And the name Armand was a result of a misspelling of the deed transfer, where the R in St Armand was accidentally added, but the name stuck. Later, the circle was developed by circus magnate John Ringling, in part to create an area that would act as the winter headquarters for President Warren Harding, a friend of Mr. Ringling. Another little-known piece of history is that the building housing Café Europe was the original real estate office for Ringling and Owen Burns. Evidence is still inside, so make a reservation and go see for yourself. Speaking of gourmet foods, just a few steps away from Café Europe we find the Ancient Olive, where Debbie tells us why you should pop in for a taste.
Our niche here is that we'd like people to sample things. We do sell balsamic vinegar from Modena, Italy, and extra virgin olive oils. We have wine and cheese, lots of things you can sample. It's a wonderful destination for people to come to shop. Everything is outside. We have beautiful weather, beautiful boutique shopping, lots of wonderful restaurants with outside dining. The beach is maybe 5 blocks away, so you can walk to take a few photos of the beach if you'd like. I think that the history of St. Armands is appealing to people as well, and I think it's a great location for a nice weekend away. The sun is shining, the palm trees are blowing in the wind, the beach is probably calling your name, so do some great shopping, have some great lunch, and come back and see us again soon.
And of course, St. Armands Circle is much more than just food. All it takes is a short stroll around the circle to find all kinds of shopping for your interests. We have arts, entertainment, clothing, and just a short stroll away is my favorite, Lido Beach. See you out here on the circle soon, Matthew.
You can check out Daniel's company and see what adventures he has coming up at myxoadventures.com. Got a burning question and you need an answer? Beneva Fruitville takes your questions, and boy, she has answers. She'll be here after this short break. A wise person once said, "Don't ask the question unless you really want the answer." Well, Beneva Fruitville is here and opened her mailbag of questions. Are you ready for her answers?
Hi, and welcome to Ask Beneva, the segment where you can ask me anything, literally anything you want, and I will answer it. Now, will I answer your question correctly? Who knows? Will my answer be helpful? Possibly. Will I begin to pontificate and forget what the question even was? Definitely. So let's go with our first question. If you don't know what someone's pronouns are, do you ask them? If so, what is the proper way to do so without being insulting? Well, there's your answer right there. You just ask them. And there's nothing insulting about asking someone their pronouns. In fact, if you're presenting and anyone has a question about their pronouns, you can certainly introduce yourself as your pronouns. So for instance, I would introduce myself as, "Hi, I'm Beneva Fruitville, and my pronouns are she, her." All right, our next question. Has taking hormones affected you as a vocalist? Has your voice gotten higher? What vocal part feels like the best fit now? And is that something you worried about, look forward to, or both? Well, there are a lot of parts to this question, so let me go one by one. Has taking hormones affected you as a vocalist? Yes and no. The physiological effects that happen to the body do not affect the vocal cords because they are like tendons. So they don't stretch or shrink. They fatten. So there's no physiological advantages to taking hormones, but a lot of transgender people go to a vocal coach to learn how to speak higher in their register. And as a trained vocalist, I've done that my whole life. So my voice has technically gotten higher because I chose to do so and I trained myself to do so. And I feel like my best vocal fit right now is an alto or a mezzo-soprano. And I've learned how to belt all the Broadway songs that I've always wanted to sing my whole life. And this is something that I looked forward to because I love all those great female empowerment songs. Our next question: how hard was the process of getting your sex changed on your driver's license? So let me first of all state that when you have something done to your paperwork, you're actually not getting your sex changed. You're getting your gender marker changed. And there's lots of debates in conservative and liberal communities about the difference between sex and gender. For these purposes, you are getting your gender marker changed. So I went to my doctor and I got myself a letter which stated under perjury of law that she attested that I was undergoing treatment for my gender dysphoria. She listed her reference number as a doctor. She listed the legalities that she needed to do so. I got that letter, presented it to the DMV. I had to make an appointment because it's COVID times. So I went to my appointment, got a new driver's license, it's the cost of an address change. So it was $31, I believe. And I walked out the door with my F on my driver's license. And I will tell you, the first thing I did is I went straight to the ladies' room on government property and I relieved myself, literally. All right, our next question is, my friend has been dating a guy for over 3 years, but he is still married. He doesn't want to be with his ex, but he won't divorce her. Any advice? Yes, dump him. If he's still married, he's never going to get divorced, and he's never going to marry you. I'm sorry, I know it's going to hurt, but you're never going to get what you want out of this relationship. So it's time to move on. And that finishes our segment this time for Ask Beneva. I would like to thank Bookstore One, Sarasota, for this beautiful setting that we're in for filming. I also want to thank Project Pride SRQ for their amazing work in the community and allowing me to do this segment. And also remember, you may not remember the question, but you will always remember the answer when you ask Beneva.
Thanks, Beneva. I was driving here today and passed by Beneva in Fruitville, and I loved it. If you have a question for Beneva, send them directly to her at benevafruitville@gmail.com. Or you can go to her website, benevafruitville.com. You might have noticed the sign on the door at Bookstore One. Project Pride SRQ is helping local businesses to build awareness and support of all people. We encourage you to support these businesses and let them know you appreciate their commitment to diversity. Last episode, you got to meet our new field host, Ariel Blue. Ariel is an accomplished actor, singer, and a regular performer at the West Coast Black Theater Troupe. And now she's our new field host. You'll be seeing a lot more of her in coming episodes. Ariel recently visited a local favorite restaurant, and she's going to tell us all about it.
Hey, Matt. It's Ariel, and I am here at the Fresh Start Cafe in downtown Sarasota, and I'm sitting with Hannah Schneider. Is that correct?
It is.
You are the co-owner of this establishment.
Yes.
So tell us about the history of this place.
Okay. This is our 10th year in business. October was 10 years. This place is a creation of myself and my wife, Rochelle Selden. It was a baby created with many people affecting, making us a success. Mm-hmm. Basically, we have a few polar poles that this place stands on. Our fathers, both financially, have actually made this a possibility.
Nice.
But mostly it's the staff. We have had, some of our staff members have been with us since the beginning.
Wow.
And although Rochelle and I both have experience in the culinary business and the bar and restaurant business, Sarasota, this is our first time doing this in Sarasota, and we took all the help we could get from whoever was coming our way.
10 years ago, you created Fresh Start. Is there significance to the name?
Fresh Start was a fresh start for both of us. Rochelle was coming out of a job that was not quite her.
Okay.
I was coming out of school, finishing my degree in human development, and the day I got that degree is about the same day that we opened these doors.
Wow.
We just needed a change. We came here from Massachusetts / New York, and it was a fresh start, and it happened to be a fresh start for every person that started working here.
That's great. You know, I actually came here my first time about 2.5 weeks ago. I came and I was very boring. I got this pancake and eggs, but are there specialties?
So I am from Israel, hence there's a Mediterranean twist to the menu. Basically, everything in-house is made in-house, but except for those falafel balls that you see on that Mediterranean platter, nothing in the house is fried.
So because we're still in a pandemic, tell us how you're managing without being in the restaurant or with the people.
Today is a gorgeous day. We did have a line all day long for sitting, yes. However, it is very weather dependent. We have yet to open back the indoors. Honestly, our customers understand it and are very, very grateful to the fact that we have yet to open the indoors. We rarely have somebody complain. Everybody puts their masks on until they're ready to eat. It's a very accepted.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
we don't have anybody that complains
And even though it's weather dependent, you guys have a great location. Trees, so that it's not sun bearing down on you.
Yesterday the umbrellas held from the rain.
Oh, that's
People
right.
were sitting in the rain out here and eating, and God bless the staff because they came out and worked.
This looks amazing. So what is this dish?
This is a Mediterranean platter.
Yes.
Basically, it's a little bit of Tel Aviv in one plate. You have baba ganoush made of eggplants, tahini made of sesame seeds, and hummus that everybody pretty much knows.
I love hummus.
And then you have roasted eggplant underneath, a chopped Israeli salad, Mediterranean pickles that we actually ship in from Israel.
Wow.
Falafel bowls, and couscous salad, and then there's your pita bread.
And I saw you dress the salad earlier with this green dressing. Is that house made?
All our dressings, soups, everything is made in-house. We don't bring anything in the bag and open it. And
you should.
Basically, we don't hide sugars and glutens and all those things. And that's
great.
I understand in America.
You have pastries too.
Yes.
I came and they were all on display.
Pastries were my biggest challenge.
Yeah?
Because I'm very natural in the kitchen, and in culinary school, it was a lot of hands-on cooking, but not much baking. So we took the summer before we opened, and I experimented a lot. My father says he gained about 40 pounds. Just trying to out everything, and we got our superb. And actually now, when all that is easy to make, I'm experimenting with new baked goods. All of a sudden we have pies and all the gluten-free field. You know, it's new to me, and we are being able to create beautiful gluten-free baked goods.
Hannah, thank you so much for meeting with us and telling us about Fresh Start Cafe. Cheers to a fresh start.
That just about does it for this episode of The Brunch Show. In upcoming episodes, we will be giving you updates on the progress of the Rainbow Crosswalk, explore more sites with Daniel Milks, and of course, get the lowdown from Beneva Fruitville. As always, a special thank you to the Community Foundation of Sarasota County for their support, and Florida Studio Theatre for being such gracious hosts. I'm Matthew McGee, aka Miss McGee, and we'll see you next time.